everybody, I'm Laura. Thanks for coming to chat with me today. Today, I want to talk about musical structure. Representation of the music. So you want to know a little bit about it. Primarily, you've got the beat. After that, you've got if it's swung or if it's straight, the quality of that beat, the timing of that beat. And after that, you have something that's a little bit more macro. You have the structure that those beats fall into. That structure is like paragraphs or chapters in a book. They help organize the storyline, they help give it some kind of cadence, and they help us as the reader or dancer understand what's about to happen next and when that thing might happen. Now here's the difficulty with music, is not everybody is on the same page. Some people automatically seem to know about structure, they feel it in their bones, and they don't even have to think about this stuff. Some people, this structure is really, really new, or maybe even the beat is new, and it might be frustrating that it's hard to hear these differences. Don't worry about it. Just keep listening to music. If you keep listening to music, all of this stuff is related. All of it builds on top of its stuff. So the more you hear, the more you understand, the more you'll be able to extrapolate to other musical forms and other songs. Not every song is structured the exact same way, and there can be irregularities that are on purpose and are beautiful surprises. But there are a few basic forms that you see again and again and again in the jazz music that we dance to. So let's start with some basic vocabulary. First, song. That's like the book. Chorus, that's like chapters. Phrases, that's like paragraphs. So to illustrate these different structures of music, I'm going to be singing simply because it's easier for me to pop in and out of the music to talk to you. It's not that I'm a singer. Do not critique me on my singing, it will hurt my feelings. So as we go through this, I'm going to be pointing at my fingers. Each finger is an 8 count, so you can see how long everything takes. First structure, probably the most common, is this thing called AABA. You hear it all the time in competitions and stuff like that. It goes like, I know why I've waited, I know why I've been blue, prayed each night for someone exactly like you. Okay, that was a solid paragraph. That was a full section. Let's call it something. Let's call it A. Next section. Oh, why should we spend money on a show or two? No one does those love scenes exactly like you. All right, that sounded just like the last one. We'll call it A again because it sounded exactly the same. Now you might be saying, what do you mean they sound the same? They sound totally different. The lyrics might be different, but if you look at the melody, the note placement, the rhythm, that's largely the same. And that's what we're listening for. Next section. You make me feel so grand, I want to hand the world to you. You seem to understand the foolish little dreams I'm dreaming and the schemes I'm scheming. All right, that sounded super different. We'll call that something different. We'll call it B. Next section. And now I know my mother, why she taught me to be true. Because she meant me for someone exactly like you. All right, that sounded like the first two. We'll call that A again, hence AABA. Next structure takes the same amount of time, but sounds a little bit different. ABAC. You came to me from out of nowhere. You took my heart and found it free. All right, paragraph, we'll call it A. Wonderful dreams, wonderful schemes out of nowhere. Make every hour sweet as a flower to me. Okay, so that sounded real different. We'll call it B. Next section. If you should go back to your nowhere, leaving me just a memory. Okay, that sounded the same as the first one. We'll call it A again. Next section. I'll always wait for your return out of nowhere, just hoping you'll bring your love back to me. Okay, so that sounded different than the last 3 sections. Let's call it C. So in both of those examples, the phrases A's, B's, and C's are 4 8 counts long. song. Both of these structures are commonly referred to as 32 bar because each chorus is 16 8 counts. Each 8 count is 2 bars or 2 measures, that's what the musicians see, and each bar or measure is 4 beats. Math, 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 math. But that is not always the case, even if you call it AABA. It probably is if you're talking to a dancer, but it's not necessarily if you're talking to a musician. The A's only mean they sound the same. It doesn't imply length. Now, 90% of the time it's 32 bar, but it's not always that way. Next structure, super common, is this thing called blues. It goes, my man don't love me, treats me awful mean. My man don't love me, treats me awful mean. He's the lowest man that I've ever seen. Okay, so that's 6/8. That's way more than the other two kinds. And the next section is a whole new discussion. Most people call that a chorus. Most people say that blueses don't have phrases, but some say they have phrases of 2 8 counts each. My man don't love me, treats me awful mean. My man don't love me, treats me awful mean. He's the lowest man that I've ever seen. That's a very typical structure. Statement, reinforced statement, conclusion statement. A common name for this is 12-bar blues because each chorus is 6 8 counts. Each 8 count is 2 bars or measures, that's what the musicians see, and each bar or measure is 4 beats. Math, 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 math. However, blueses aren't always 6 8 counts or 12 bars. They can vary. But when you're talking to a dancer, you're really talking about a 6 8 count, 12 bar blues. So these are the most basic structures. However, you don't have to know the names of these in order to be a good dancer. The terms are thrown around a lot in the community, but the most important thing for you to do as a dancer is to be able to feel the different chunks so you can feel when a new chunk is about to happen. However, people frequently have two main problems with feeling those chunks. One is that the melody is not consistent every time they go through the chorus. They might play it straighter the first time through, but then maybe a soloist will come in and deviate. Maybe a whole ensemble will come through. So it can be difficult to recognize those pieces since they sound so different. Now, there are a bunch of different things that you can listen to. One of those things is just that they're variations on the melody a lot of the times. There's this wonderful story of Ben Webster, who's this amazing tenor sax player, and he's playing this beautiful ballad, and then he stops playing in the middle of a solo, and somebody's like, Ben, why did you stop? And Ben said, I forgot the lyrics. Now, not every musician is going to stick to the lyrics, and not every musician is going to play the melody, but with a few little deviations. Sometimes they go way off, and that's great too. But something that will help is if you can keep that basic melody in your head, because that will lock you into the form. Another thing that's really helpful is listening to the background. What are the people behind the soloist doing? Because a lot of the times they're doing something really consistent. They're following along with the same chord structure. They're building and then they're receding, and that build and that recession happens on those freeze changes and on those chorus changes every single time. So if you get kind of lost, see if you can hear past the melody, see if you can hear past the soloist, and listen for what the background is doing. To help you hear this background, we're going to play a full chorus of some music, and then we're just going to take out the rhythm guitar so you can hear it separately. your music and your talent as a rhythm guitarist. Another problem people have hearing the chunks is that they're not always consistent. Sometimes in a song you have chorus, 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 and the structure is the same all the way through. Sometimes you have chorus, chorus, interlude, chorus, chorus, interlude. An interlude is basically a little section of music that could be short or long, but doesn't have anything to do with the broader structure. It's not about memorizing how long each section of the song is. It's about being able to hear the different sections and hear the wrap-ups. So that way you can tell if something is about to happen. I'm gonna have a list of a bunch of songs in the descriptions that follow these different formats and that deviate from those formats. So if you're having some difficulty listening to these differences, check out the playlist. Hopefully they give you some good guidance. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you want to support my channel, hit that subscribe button and then head on over to my Patreon page where you can help videos like this be free for everyone. And remember, best way to learn how to dance is to listen to a bunch of music and then dance to that music. You have no idea how many times I re-sing those songs. I think it is hard to sing and it is hard to point at your fingers when you're not looking at them.